Hi, I'm John Wallace.
I'm Richard Stone.
And we're here at Leaf Only in Middletown, Connecticut. And today we're going to show you a little bit about the anatomy of a cigar.
All right, so right here what we have is one of Leaf Only cigars. This is actually a 255 series that we call. It's a full body cigar. So what I'm going to do is kind of just cut it open for you guys, and then we're going to get into how this cigar is made up.
No.
It's going to be a little difficult to see, but what we start off with is a wrapper leaf. That's the outer leaf. It's used for aesthetics. It's usually going to have very little damages. It's going to be more expensive than any of the other leaves that we work with because of how it's sorted and how it's graded. But again, it's going to be mostly the aesthetics and even mouth flavor for you. It's not going to really affect too much of the smoke flavor, but more of the, again, in the mouth, what you taste when you're holding it in your mouth. We can show one of the wrapper leaves on the side here.
Before we get into the rest of the cigar, here's an example of our Ecuadorian shade wrapper. As you can see, whole leaf, not very many blemishes or discolorations at all, really a nearly perfect leaf. And that's the goal with wrapper leaf. I mean, with any whole leaf tobacco, you're gonna get a little bit that maybe isn't perfect. I mean, that's just, it's like buying a pound of apples at the store. You're gonna have one or two of the bruise on it. But generally speaking, wrapper leaf should be top-notch quality for that outer wrap of the cigar, and it just really, really makes the cigar look like a cigar.
Next, what we're going to get into is the binder leaf. That's right below the wrapper leaf. Now, the binder leaf is actually what holds the body of the cigar when you're first starting. When you originally start with a cigar, you start filler first, you bunch it up, then you get the binder together, because the binder is what's going to hold the cigar together. It's going to keep the form when you're putting it in a mold and initially give you the form of the cigar. So the binder leaves are usually graded where they're going to have more damages, as we can see here. If we hold it up, actually, you'll see some of the holes.
Yeah, this is a Connecticut 2LS. It's a binder grade leaf. And basically when they're sorting the entire crop of plant, they'll take ones that have small holes or small discolorations and say, that's binder. You know, the ones that are really bad, like really shredded up, it doesn't even make it into the binder. It goes right to filler. But this would be a binder leaf, and it's okay if it has discolorations. It's okay if it has holes, because nobody's gonna see it. It's specifically to hold the cigar together, to hold the filler together, and create a template for that nice wrapper leaf that goes on the outside.
Next part we're going to get into is the filler, and that's the majority of the leaves that you're going to buy, and that makes up a cigar. It's what's going to make the flavor. It's what's going to help with the burn, even with the ash. You know, a lot of people talk about ash and burn when you're smoking cigars. White ash usually seems to be the most optimal. They talk about white ash because it's usually based on having good soil for when you grew the leaf. The burn is more about how the cigar was made. Was it packed a little too tightly? Does it draw well? If it's not drawn well, then it's usually packed too tightly. Now, if it's drawn too much and what they call hot, you can actually taste the smoke being hot in your mouth, then we know that the filler is actually packed too lightly. So there's the two ends of the spectrum there. Is it packed too lightly? No, if it's packed too lightly, it's a bad cigar. If it's packed too tightly, it's also going to be a bad cigar, but they cause different things.
And something as simple as moisture content can make a huge difference in that regard too. You know, if your humidor is running too moist, your cigar is going to be wet. It's not going to pull good. And same thing if it's too dry. You know, wintertime, you leave your cigar outside, you go to smoke it later, you're going to say that cigar burnt hot. Maybe not because it was rolled poorly, but simply because the leaves are bone dry.
Exactly.
So a lot of factors go into the way the cigar smokes.
One thing I'm going to get into really quick too about the filler, and even when you're making up the filler, this is a nice little tip. Usually, once again, we talked about it in some other videos, but the Ligero leaves are usually in the center of the filler. The reason is that it's a thicker leaf and it's a little harder to burn at times. So by putting it in the center and then taking some of the lighter leaves like the Secos, the Velados, those leaves are a little lighter, so they burn a little easier, a little hotter, a little quicker. So by doing that, the Ligero can help burn a little more evenly too. That's really when you're making a quality cigar and you're working, you're trying to, you know, bring it to the best level you can. This is the best way to do it. You want to start with a thicker cigar, thicker leaves in the center, and then branch out with the lighter leaves on the outside to help it burn better and more evenly.
Otherwise, what will happen is what's known as tunneling. You know, I'm not sure if you've ever seen a cigar that has a thick wrapper or even a wet wrapper on the outside, and you go to light it and you notice that the inside is burning, but the outside's still there. Well, that can happen if you don't put the thicker leaves on the inside, and that's mainly why they do it.
Now we're going to get a little bit into the different types of fillers. We have what's known as short filler. These are used in a lot of manufactured cigars, mass-produced, cheaper grades.
Yeah, your cheap $1 cigars, your cigarillos. And here's an example of what short filler might look like. It's all broken up, little bits and pieces, very low-grade filler. You're not going to find good quality tobacco in here generally. You may find some, but it's kind of just junk, and you can't really, I mean, I suppose you could try to roll a premium cigar with that stuff, but it's difficult. It doesn't come out nice, and it's not what the pros do. This is mainly for machines. You know, it goes in a hopper, and the machines spin up these cigars very quickly, and that's how they're made. Whereas with a premium cigar, I'm not sure how much this will show it here, but you have basically the leaves that we sell. Yeah, see how they're long pieces, basically, that have been bunched together and folded together, and they're still really intact as opposed to the short filler. That's the difference between a premium cigar and a cheap cigar. Premium cigars are using high quality, long fillers. Cheap cigars are machine made and they're using short fillers.
You may even use a homogenized, what's known as a composite or fake binder as well, where they'll take a little bit of maybe short filler, some other leaves, and they press it together with maybe a paper type mixture or something. These you see in a lot of a lot of Phillies are really common, Dutch Masters, Swisher Sweets, stuff like that as well. So a lot of those cigars, the wrapper leaf is probably the only thing that's really maybe a nice quality leaf on the cheaper type of cigars.
So if you're looking for high quality stuff, you know, that's what we offer. We offer only the best tobaccos. We don't typically sell short filler unless it's to a manufacturer that requests it. It's very cheap. I mean, it's dollars a pound. It's I don't want to say worthless because it's very widely used. It's probably used more so than the good stuff. But yeah, we try to sell the top-notch stuff. And it's funny because you can get a cigar here if you make it yourself for a couple bucks a cigar. But in reality, that same blend is being sold by, you know, companies like Davidoff and all the other high-end brands for, you know, $13, $25, $20, name your price. So yeah, that's a big difference here.
Let's show them a couple of the different filler leaves real quick too, some of our quality Dominican. We talked about the Ligero, the Secos, and the Velados, but we wanted to show them to you real quick. Dominican, we figured, is some of the more popular common leaves. It's more mild and nice and aromatic, smooth. It's really nice for beginners. This is something I would choose a lot of the time when I was first starting off. And you know, it's probably our most popular seller. And Dominican Republic works a lot with the cigar leaves. A lot of import and exporting goes on there. Just labor-wise, they do lots of sorting for even Connecticut here. The Connecticut shade that we get grown right down the road does not get sorted or graded in Connecticut. It gets shipped right after getting picked in Connecticut here and gets sent to the Dominican where it gets sorted, graded, and everything. And before I can even get any, I have to import it. So that's just something to keep in mind too when you know you think about leaves and where they're coming from and whatnot. So the Dominican Ligero here, again, the Ligero leaves are on the top of the plant. So it's going to be a smaller leaf, it's going to get a lot of sunlight, and because it gets so much sunlight, they actually get kind of thicker and a little rougher. So again, Ligeros are usually going to be your most robust, more full flavor when you want to get something that's going to, you know, give it a little more kick in when you're smoking. Gorgeous leaves, really nice. Like I said, when you like to work with a cigar and use them, start with them in the center first, use the lighter ones on the outside. That's really going to help you make a good cigar.
Yep, and here I have just make sure, the Seco. This one is below Ligero, below Viso, and then there's Seco. It's, besides Velato, it's the thinnest, version of a plant that you can get, version of a filler. And this one goes around the Visos and the Ligeros, and actually a lot of people use more Seco than anything else. It really kind of defines the body of the cigar, and
usually also yields the most from a plant too, from what it says.
Yep. So yeah, it's a common one. But the thing about cigar making, especially doing it yourself, is you don't have to follow all the rules. I mean, I've had customers buy one type of leaf simply because they like it so much, and they make cigars known as a Puro out of just that one leaf. You know, they'll take a Connecticut broadleaf and they'll use it for filler, they use it for binder, they'll use it for wrapper, and that's what they like. So, I mean, no one says you need to get a little Ligero, a little Seiko, a little Viso. That's what most people do. That's what the pros do. That doesn't mean that's what you have to do. You know, you can discover what you like the most buying the whole leaf. And we're just here to give you the general guidelines and tips of what might give you a better experience, especially doing this for the first time.
To learn more about Leaf Only, please visit us at leafonly.com, and thanks for watching Cigar TV. Light it up.
Everything is bigger, better, and more badass in the Big Apple. I'm Chef Plum, and I'm gonna take you on a journey around the tri-state to find the best colossal eats around. So throw away your calorie counts, untuck your shirt, and loosen your belt, because we're going to eat big in New York. Go home. In the big city with big personalities and big flavors, there's gonna be big food. So when you think about real deal Southern barbecue, you may not think about Long Island, New York, but the Cavallo brothers at Semper Fame are bringing some old school American barbecue with a whole lot of Long Island attitude. So guys, I'm hanging out with John Cavallo here at Semper Fame, man. You guys are awesome. It's been a lot of fun.
I appreciate it. It's great having you over here.
Dude, you guys are great. Listen, what made you get into doing this? What made you decide to get into food to begin with?
I grew up a couple of jobs. One was always in the restaurant business, started as a busboy. We always did barbecues at the house. As soon as they were having a barbecue, people would come over instantly, you know, so it kind of just grew. So we were doing it at the house, learning and just testing different things out.
Talk to me about the name. Semper Fame, where on earth did it come from?
My father's from Italy, so he's got a little town called Cogliano.
Right.
And in Cogliano, there's one butcher shop, there's one, you know, place to get your bread, and it's all, you know, it's one straight path. So here is where we stay in Cogliano. Our first stop is the butcher shop, and my cousin over there, they run their own butcher shop. So we'd wake up in the morning, me and my brother, wake up, go there, wine, cheese, prosciutto, the whole 9 yards, and we were just eating all day. So as, you know, people would want us over at their houses just to see how much we could actually consume. And that, you know, it's like, you know, it's like an honor for them over there to see us eat. We're like, oh, buongiorno, buongiorno. All of a sudden someone's like, ah, sempre fame. We're like, all right, maybe they don't know us. Right. You know, we'll keep that next person. Buongiorno, sempre fame. So we finally get back into the town where my dad's hanging out with all his friends. And I'm like, everyone keeps calling us sempre fame. They all start laughing. Right. And they're like, ah, it means always hungry. All you guys do is eat all day. That's it.
So listen, I don't see Chris anywhere. Who's the better cook, you or him?
I'll give him that.
You will? You give him that?
I give him a lot of credit.
There you go.
Come in here, no experience, to be able to come here and cook to order.
He's done a great job.
I've seen in the restaurants, and I know it can get really frustrating.
Right.
And he caught on really fast.
He's done a great job back there.
Yeah.
All
right, we're gonna start with the pork butt to make our pulled pork.
Let's do it, man.
Well, for the slob later. All right, so we got untrimmed pork butt, pork butts, bone in.
Yeah, that's great.
Keep it all up. Start with the spicy brown mustard.
Right, so what are we doing here? You're gonna pour some on there?
Yeah, pour it on there, nice rub on there.
And give it a nice little massage?
Yep, exactly.
Massage your pork butt. Rub on there, and you're leaving the fat on there, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't like to trim it because it's gonna dry out. Keep it nice and moist.
So this is our seasoning. Now, what's in this?
That's my paprika, pepper, kosher salt, cayenne pepper, and that's it. And black pepper.
All right, we're gonna rub this in a little more?
Yeah, looking good. Good little pat, a little love pat.
That's right. Make sure you smack that butt.
Exactly. And that's it. Easy as that.
Awesome.
Now we're gonna load it on the smoker.
All right.
8.5 hours, been resting. Pork butt, Boston butt.
You got it. You're gonna want to use those cuts of meat because those are the cuts of meat that are gonna have a little bit more connective tissue in them. They're gonna be a little bit more tough. And not to mention the fat content, because dude, when you're talking barbecue, you gotta have the fat content because that's the good stuff. And what do you do with it? You let it kind of...
Yeah, just let the fat render into the meat, keep it juicy, keep the spices all into there.
And then we save it later and take a bath in it.
Yeah, if you like. All right, now we grab our security system, the bulk bear claws.
There you go.
Rip that up.
Look at this. Look at that. You know, I've done a lot of barbecue, man. I've never actually used these Wolverine claws you got here that you're cutting up the pork with. It's always been a fork.
Got these, saving me a lot of time.
Yeah, they do. Look at that. This looks delicious. And I like how you're leaving some of that fat in there. That's the best part.
Yeah, because when you keep it in there, you know, it just keeps rendering if you keep cooking it.
And all you
Usually
gotta
keep
do
it in a crock pot, keep it on warm,
Right.
and it keeps on getting a little more tender, and the fat just keeps going right into it. And now I put my seasonings in there.
what do we got here?
This is a apple cider vinegar and mustard.
Okay.
Put that in there.
So we're talking almost a little bit more of a Carolina style, right? But you're gonna put a little Long Island flair on it.
Exactly. Let's throw that in there, and then I throw my barbecue sauce on there also.
What's in the barbecue sauce now?
Unsulfured molasses, onions, garlic, pepper, salt, our rub.
Oh,
Got tomato, ketchup, and sugar, brown sugar, and that's about it.
wow, sounds delicious. This part right here, we can't have this in here. Look, that's messed up. You gotta let.
All right, go for
I'll
it.
take care of that. I'm helping you out.
Yeah, you gotta save my meal
I'm
there.
trying to get on payroll.
All right, mix that up like that.
Just mix it with your hands. When you mix it with your hands, you're adding that little bit of love to it.
All right, so that's all set. That's
is
ready to go
fantastic.
on our slob now after we cook that burger.
The slob. That's like the signature sandwich,
Bark
right?
right there.
That's right. Let me see what we got. Yeah,
go
that is
for
a
it.
nice
All right,
bark.
pull some out too.
Holy cow.
Thanks. Take our burger patty.
Make the burger patties in the house, right?
In the house, yep. Usually about 0.65 to 0.7 of a pound.
What do we have in seasoning there?
It's coarse ground pepper, coarse garlic, salt, and that's it.
Okay. Now you said 0.7 of a pound?
So a little, it's always over half a pound. Usually it's like
Okay.
0.65 to 0.7. We make them every to order, so it's never the same weight.
Right on. And what's the ground? Are we talking 80-20 on the ground beef?
80-20, exactly.
80% lean meat, 20% fat. That little fat content's going to add a lot more flavor to the ground beef. So
Exactly.
we're going to put this pulled pork with that giant ass burger.
Exactly. In between, first you gotta put bacon and cheese on it,
Right?
then the pulled pork, then coleslaw.
Now, before we do that, should we do some more manly things? Like, should we chop some wood?
Yeah.
Maybe play football?
Sounds good to me.
We could do all that and then eat this, and then
Might as well.
now we are men.
Exactly. I got a ton of wood in the back. Let's start chopping right now.
The slob, we're talking signature sandwich.
Yep.
Right? How on earth did you, two things, where did it come from and why the slob?
All right. Well, first off, it came off. One guy got a burger, a bacon cheeseburger. He was looking at it. Another guy, his friend, got a slider, which is pulled pork with coleslaw on top.
Okay.
He's looking at it, and goes, "Why can't you just put that on top?" Like, all right. So we did it, and that's how. And we're like, he's eating it. Like, man, that's sloppy. Like, and the slob was born.
Wow. Now how many, is this like you guys sell a lot of these during the day?
The little people are a little frightened by them because they come
Yeah,
out, they have their own packaging. You gotta cut something in half, make a dome for it. So they see they get a little intimidated, but when someone comes in hungry, they like slob it up.
Wow. That's fantastic. Now what do you serve this with when you make it?
Usually fries and side salad, something like that.
Side salad.
Well, coleslaw, macaroni, potato.
I'll have the slob and a little Diet Coke. Is that all right? Holy cow.
Doesn't work that way.
Let's now you guys use Texas toast for a lot of sandwiches, right?
Yeah, we use that for our burgers, for our sandwiches. It's either that, rye, or whole wheat. We don't
Okay.
have buns. We don't use rolls. Try to keep it a little different.
Yeah,
Don't
for
want to
sure.
emphasize on the bread. We want to emphasize on the meat.
For sure, that's fantastic, man. Now what are all the deliciousness we're gonna put on the sandwich? We got the burger, we got our pulled pork, we got
Yep.
cheese,
Start with a basic bacon cheeseburger.
and throwing bacon on it too. Why
And
not?
then,
Who
and then we
wouldn't
throw it
put
right
bacon
on top. We start it up with the pulled pork and coleslaw. Yeah, just melt this cheese real quick.
on it? Here we go.
Throw a little bacon on there.
Oh. This is great. You got bacon, a giant burger, then you gotta throw some pulled pork on
Yeah,
there.
it's not done yet. We got a lot of pulled pork.
A
Not
lot
little.
of pulled
Yep.
pork on there. That's
We're
awesome.
not gonna cheap out the pulled pork in this one.
Now what happens when someone comes in here, orders a signature slob, and then wants a fork?
Just tell them to go home.
Get out, get out.
Well, we had one guy come in. He got the slob, takes our mac and cheese, pours it on top. I go, "You need a fork?" He goes, "No." Just grabs it. I'm like, "Holy!"
Did you guys all just come out and start clapping for him?
We just sat there and watched. That was impressive. I don't even think we charged him after that, just because you really know.
Oh,
It's like
that's
just
awesome.
go. All right, I think we're good here.
There you
Get
go.
a little rare.
Look at this. That alone, look, that That thing is huge.
That's just the start. All right. So now we're gonna grab the pulled pork. Nice healthy serving of it.
Now we're not weighing this, right? You just
Nah.
get it's a handful.
Whatever fits on the burger we ended up making.
Oh, that's awesome.
Too much bark on that one.
Look at this.
There you go, a little more in there.
And now you got a special technique you use here to make it taste even more delicious, right?
Yep.
We just kind of, oh, what are we hitting it now
We're gonna hit
with?
the little coleslaw,
Coleslaw.
homemade coleslaw,
Holy cow.
and that's what makes it sloppy.
Come on. Dude, look at this. We got a ruler?
And there you go. There's your slob.
Good Lord.
And we don't cut that.
Here, let's have a point of reference here. That's my phone. Point of reference. How about that? It's almost the same height as my iPhone. That's crazy.
Now you gotta get your mouth around it. That's the real challenge.
Now, how do you package this up first? I want to see how you package this up.
I'll show you. This is usually.
Because, I mean, what do you got to have, like a leather strap?
Yeah. Girdle. Throw that in there. You grab the bigger lid. So you got its own special packaging. You gotta take that one, get a little cut.
Oh wait, hold on, check it out. You got to make their own packaging here.
Make a little dome.
It's a little kitchen engineering on its finest.
And that's how you do it.
Look at that.
And there's your slot pack.
Look at that. Wow. Also doubles as a nice hat. Not on my head.
Learned that at my other restaurant. That's how you package the desserts. So you don't want to get the desserts all sloppy.
I'm totally stealing that. That's a good idea the way you make that. That's great, man. All right, look, let's taste this. Come on.
All right.
Jesus. Seriously, I look at that and I just... I mean, how do you even start? Like, can we start with a testosterone pill? Just to kind of get me going? Let's see what we got here.
There you go.
Hope my wife's not watching this because she's definitely gonna think I'm very unattractive after this.
There you go. How's that combo? Men understand that.
Wow. So this sandwich right here, man, you get that pulled pork in there. You're gonna hit that little bit of sauce from there, that kind of sweet spiciness from the sauce. Then that burger comes in with that nice char grill marks on there. You kind of get that. The seasoning's great. The coleslaw on top really kind of cools it down. It kind of just knocks it all the way home. But then, right when you think you're done with your mouth, the bacon hits you. And then the bacon mixed with it all, that is fantastic, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Killer. And the best thing about it, when you take a bite out of this, you look angry.
Yeah.
When you're
You gotta open that.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome, man. That is great. And I like the grilled bread too, because the grilled bread, because you're taking away some, because you're gonna have so much moisture come down from that. When you grill it, you're gonna kind of make the bread a little bit more crunch to it, you know. So it's gonna kind of reabsorb that moisture, so it's not just a complete mess all over you.
Yeah, you try to get a little bit of juice in there.
That is
Bread
crazy,
soaks up.
man. That's
Tiny
crazy.
way.
Look, I do it again.
All right. I'm sorry.
Look at this. Just to show you what I mean. Talking man food here. You want to see what happens when you eat this? You look angry. Watch. Oh. Hey, stay tuned to Eat Big New York for more real deal barbecue here at Semper Fame in Floral Park, New York. This is not a couple of men eating ribs have conversation. Ready? Watch this.
All right, so now we're gonna make our brisket. We're gonna set that up for the smoker.
So you're gonna leave a lot of this fat here on there?
I'm gonna leave it all on there.
Okay, right on.
Yep.
And this is about 9 pounds, and so we're gonna, when this is done, this is probably gonna lose what, 30% of its weight?
Yeah,
or
it's
so?
at 30 to 40%.
Okay.
Lose a bunch.
Right on.
So I don't trim the fat, but on the side, I take a little bit off, like this little brown here.
Okay.
Just because that gets a little tough, and you don't want the tear. So you just trim off a tiny bit.
Right.
Get a little bit of it off. And some people trim the fat, but I think
Yeah, I don't think you need to, especially the way you're gonna smoke it. You want to keep that on there to kind of keep some of that moisture and let that fat drip down into it. Let all that
Exactly.
goodness get inside of it.
Then you get some people come in and be like, "Yeah, I want a piece of fat." There you go.
There you go, man.
All right, so
That's great.
it's easy one. Mustard,
Okay.
spicy brown again.
You're a big fan of mustard.
Yeah, I'm a mustard freak.
Nice. So
That's
just gonna
it.
rub that in, right?
Rub that in.
So rubbing the mustard into the brisket here.
Nice coating, same deal.
Hit me on the side.
Yep. So I leave the point and the flat together,
Okay.
and I trim it afterwards.
Right, right. And tell them what that means, leaving the point and the fat
Yeah, so there's
together.
always two parts of a brisket.
Right.
You got right here, if you look, you can see the vein in between. You got the flat cut, which is more lean.
You see that right there?
Yep.
So you're getting it on all the little nooks and stuff that are in there.
Yeah, once you're sitting in there, it'll seep right into that meat.
Beautiful.
Turn that over. Pop it on the other side.
I really like the mustard on there. I think that actually is a nice little technique there. I'm gonna steal that from you.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Throw a little mustard on
I
that's
stole it
nice.
from someone anyway, so. A lot of people use yellow mustard, but I hate yellow mustard.
Right.
It's not mustard to me.
There we go.
Gotta have the spicy brown.
All on the sides there.
That's it. That's a wrap.
Look at that, huh?
That's your brisket.
Now we toss that guy in the smoker, right?
Exactly. Everything goes in the smoker in this place. So we said about 9 pounds, 9.5 pounds.
That's right.
So pop it on there. Make sure it doesn't touch anything. Nice and spread out. Heat will circulate. That's it. Throw it in there. We got our wood in there.
And we're using hickory here?
We're gonna use hickory again.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
And that's it. So we'll put it on there. 9-pounder. About 8 hours.
Okay.
Don't want to overcook it because then it falls apart.
Right, right. And it's also going to have that resting time here, because after you put that in there for that, 8 or 9 hours, you guys are gone.
Yep.
Yeah, so to kind of rest and be ready to go right
Exactly. It
away.
automatically sets to a holding temperature of 140, so it
Right.
keeps it safe and it keeps it good. Keeps it nice. The moisture goes right back into it.
This is an amazing machine.
Yeah, that's changed my day.
That's awesome.
Made my day a lot easier. I used to go through logs and logs, keeping up the temperature.
Yeah.
In the winter, pain, man.
It's crazy outside to maintain temperature.
All right, brisket's been on there for about 8.5 hours. It's all ready to go. We'll start making our brisket bacon melt with this one. We'll pop it out of here. Got it on the top rack here. Pull that out. There it is. And it's all ready to roll.
Dude, this looks awesome. Look at this. Oh, and you can see the deliciousness. Look at it, it's just kind of coming out of there.
Yeah.
I love the fat cap on there. You're going to trim it up a little bit, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut it in half, trim it up a little bit, make a sandwich out of it, so you're gonna chew all fat.
Oh, but that's the best part. So this rested already, I guess, from the smoker, right?
Yeah, it rested for about a half hour to an hour on the whole time after it was done.
Right on. And how long do we have it in the smoker?
It was in there for about 8.5 hours for that kind of weight, for an 8-pounder.
Wow. Wow. If you don't like this kind of food, you should hand in your man card. This is delicious, dude. Let's see. Cut it up and let's see the
All
middle
right,
of it.
let's go. Flip it over.
Oh!
Take out a little fat on the side here.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your flat cut.
That looks delicious.
There's your point.
What do you guys put on here? Some kind of rub before you smoke it, right?
Yeah, we got paprika, salt, pepper, cayenne, and that's it.
Wow.
A little basic.
Pretty simple, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty simple. And you using just kosher salt or?
Kosher salt, yep.
Right on, right on. That's great. Look at that. What's the middle look like? I'm dying here. I'm dying.
We got it.
If you can't tell how much I like barbecue, just get a side shot of my stomach. That's all you need to see right there.
There you go.
Look at this. And you keep these nice big chunks, right?
Yeah, usually, a little thicker on the sandwiches and the platters.
Okay.
Want to try a piece?
Oh, do I want to try a piece?
All right.
I do. Thanks. Oh, wrong piece.
It's all right. Go for it.
Here, take me this. Let's see what we got here.
All right.
Oh,
Got a couple more slices on there for you.
all right, that should be good.
Throw the bread on there, toast it up. Bread's all set.
Look at your grill marks. Now, did you do any kind of butter or any kind of thing on top of
Nah,
that?
just like that.
Just like that.
Yep.
Right on, right
So
on.
now usually I take a little beef stock, throw it in the pan.
You make the beef stock in house?
Yeah, usually I take it from the drippings.
Awesome.
Throw
Look
it
at
in
that. Those little chunks of fat in there,
There
too.
you go. Get the-
That's delicious right there.
there. Mix it with a little barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce with it. Now we're talking love in a pan. Wow. That's a lot of meat.
Throw the brisket right in there.
Come on now.
That'll settle out.
They're just gonna kind of bring it to a boil, kind of let it.
Yeah, usually if it's a little cooler, heat it up a little bit, melt the cheese on there, get it going.
Right on. Now we don't ruin the sandwich by putting vegetables on it, do we?
Nah.
Good, good,
No
good,
way.
good. We don't want to put the V word on a meat sandwich.
I don't eat tomatoes, nothing.
That's awesome. So tell me one more time the components of this sandwich. You got your Texas toast, you got your smoked brisket, you got.
We got melted American and bacon. All
That's
thrown
it?
on there. Yep.
Does
Sloppy
anybody-
and good.
Do we put any kind of condiments with a little extra barbecue sauce,
No,
hot sauce?
usually the stock and the barbecue sauce in the mix usually gives a nice little juice mix, and
Nice.
you're just good to go.
Nice. And you drip some of this pan drippings on the sandwich as you're making it?
Yeah, you'll see. It'll come all on there. It'll be a slot mess.
Dude,
It'll
I'm
be
in.
good.
I'm in. I'm
All right,
in.
we got some cheese going on there.
Looks fantastic, man. Now, how long you been here?
Since October, I guess about 7 months.
7 months. That's
We're all
awesome.
set here. Get that
Look
up.
at that. Oh,
right.
yeah, you guys got to see this. Look at that. Holy cow. You just put that in a bowl.
Need a spoon?
Are you kidding
All
me?
right.
Let's see the sandwich first
Let's
here.
go here. Throw it on the bread.
But look at that thing. It's huge.
Not done yet.
Not done yet. Oh, we got to break the
Bacon
bacon. Of course. Just
Two
stop
slices
it.
on there.
Just stop it.
Top it off with your bread.
Good Lord. But that's skill. That's technique right there, guys. Check that out. I'm telling you, I'm looking at this sandwich and my arteries are screaming. It's going to be delicious.
That's it. That's good to go.
Oh, look at that.
Brisket bacon melt right there.
Look at that. Wow. That looks delicious. I got to taste it.
All right.
Look at this. Is my mouth that big? Of course my mouth's that big. Oh. Are you serious?
How is it?
Really?
That's it right there.
Good God. That is unbelievable. Out of the park, dude.
Thank you, man.
That's
Appreciate
banging,
it.
man. That's banging. That's mine too. Don't eat it.
Yeah, no problem. My favorite one right here.
St. Louis style.
Exactly. Ribs.
Look at that.
Fat on. Exactly.
Again, here we're gonna hit this with mustard.
Mustard every time.
Look at this.
A little bit
Hitting
of
that mustard on there. What we've learned so far is that mustard actually will kind of help keep that seasoning on there.
Exactly.
And it does. It works.
Yep. Keeps
So
it on there
nice.
nice.
Rubbing the
there.
mustard in here.
So we'll do one side first, then we'll flip it.
Awesome.
Salt,
you got?
paprika, black pepper, cayenne pepper, and garlic.
Nice. So we're gonna rub that in nicely.
Yep. So I don't want to overpower with brown
Right.
sugar in there.
Perfect. I'm telling you, man, I'm thinking about just eating these just like this. This looks, I just love ribs. And
Sometimes when I marinate them or just dry them, it looks like they're cooked. Fool myself.
it's like better than getting a Hallmark card. You know, come to my birthday, just bring me some ribs.
There you go.
Look at that. There you go.
There you go. You got that. The ribs on the smoker. Got this door open. Pull out the thing. Usually do two to three per rack sometimes.
Okay.
Usually can hold about 15 to 16 racks on this one.
How many hours are we talking?
This I go for 3.5 hours. So these are on there for 3.5 hours at about 2:35,
Look at that.
and they're ready to roll. Just we like to, that's our dry with a little mustard on there. Gets a nice bark. So we'll finish them off on the grill. Get them a little crispy. Get them nice and hot. Let's pull it back over. Get it a little crispy with the sauce.
Look at that. These ribs are legit. You can already tell.
All right, ribs are all set. Got a nice little glaze on there. Got the nice bend.
Bend and not break. How about that?
There you go. All right,
St.
chop them
Louis,
up for
baby.
you. All right.
Let's see. You guys, I wish you could smell this. Holy cow.
All right.
And you can see as he cuts, he's getting a little breakaway there from the meat. You mind if I borrow your knife?
Yeah, no, go for it.
You can see it kind of breaking away a little bit there from the bone. That's what we're talking about. That's the whole bend, not break.
That's our rib right there. Go for it.
That's the one?
That's it. That's the one.
There, you guys want to get a shot? Look at the inside of that. That's awesome. Let's see. Holy cow.
Holy pig.
Wow. Holy pig. Holy swan.
There you go.
I think we'll start singing. Wow.
So that's the bite I'm talking about right there.
Uh-huh. This is how a couple of men eating ribs have conversation. Ready? Watch this. That's a man conversation while you eat ribs. I'm in for the long haul with this. Let's do it. Wow.
Oh man.
So we're talking traditional Reuben here. The only catch is we're going to smoke the corned beef, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
Keep it simple. Keep it traditional.
Right, right. So
you got
people
the-
out here gotta love that stuff. When you come into the barbecue joint to get a barbecue sandwich, maybe you got your uncle with you, you got somebody with you who wants to have one of those regular old school sandwiches from a deli. You're gonna hit him with this right here, and then he'll never eat a brother Reuben again, I bet. This is the smokiness on this is fantastic. How did we get corned beef at a barbecue joint?
Well, that was a mistake. I was making ribs for my friend at my mom's house, and I had a corned beef laying around, so I decided why not smoke it and see how that comes out.
Some of the best food ever comes from a mistake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The best mistakes always taste awesome.
All right, so you let me know how this mistake came out.
Look at this, let's see. So you got it nice and brined, right?
Yep.
All right, a little sugar, a little salt.
Exactly, a little peppercorn, brine for about 10 days.
Okay. Wow, that's great, man. Look at that. Looks great. I love the fat cap on top. That fat's gonna hold in a lot of that moisture as it's smoking.
Exactly, I don't trim a thing.
Dude, it sounds awesome. Let's do it. Fire it up. Fire it up.
Flip that over.
Beautiful.
Trim a little fat off there, not too much. Cut that in half.
This is what I'm getting. All you guys here look like you're in pretty decent shape. How does this happen?
I don't know. I got a girlfriend that's on my ass.
Oh, there you go. Wow. That's fantastic. Holy cow. And look, you can see there's the love coming out of here. Look at that.
Yo, you want also? Let's get a slice for you right here.
Let's taste it. Now you're going to cut on the bias, right?
Yeah, roast the grain right there.
To keep it from being a little bit too tough?
Exactly.
Right.
Let's get you a slice there.
Look at this. Oh,
Go.
let me check this out. Look at the tear. It's fantastic. I love corned beef, man. The smokiness on this is fantastic.
Throw some Swiss on there, get a little toast. All right, grab some sauerkraut from here.
Look at that. True men don't use tongs for sauerkraut. Boom. Now your sauerkraut, is it room temperature or we?
Yeah, usually room temperature.
Okay.
Keeps it a little warm up there.
All right.
Throw a little
Russian
there.
dressing. You guys make the dressing in house?
Yeah. Mix it together. Throw some of this on there.
This is right out of the smoker. You guys keep this kind of temperature there, right?
Yeah, keep it on a holding temp so it's always fresh, ready to roll.
You know, I've never seen a Reuben done with such thick pieces of corned beef, but the amazing part is traditionally it's sliced really, really thin because corned beef can be kind of tough. But the way this is smoked and kept in that smoker for so long, it's unbelievable.
That's why I want to keep it more barbecue, keep it nice and thick cuts like the briskets.
That's right, that's right. It's way more manly when it's thick.
There you go.
It's not about, it's all about the girth, right?
There's your smoked Reuben.
Oh. All right, I gotta get a taste of this.
All right, go for it.
I should probably get a few. Hold on. All right, now we're ready.
That should help.
Yeah, that's it. Burn those 6 calories. Now I feel better about myself. Let's see what we got here. How many of these can you make for me to take to go?
All right, well, you see, you got it right here.
That is slamming, man.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Hi, I'm Josh DeCiana, and we're inside the humidor. Today I'm going to talk about the DeCiana 312 cigar. The idea originated between myself and my brother 10 years ago, back in 2004. We were on a family vacation in Italy. Our last name is DeCiana. We always wanted to have our name on a cigar. My brother's been in the business for over 20 years. I was just getting into the business, and we thought it'd be really nice to have our name on a cigar. This DeCiana 312 is very special to us. It bears our name. It also bears the shield of Siena, Italy. The DeCiana 312 is made in the Nestor Palencia factory down in Honduras. It is an all Nicaraguan cigar. It's special because it has a little bit of Colombian tobacco in it. It has a Nicaraguan Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan Lajero. Tobacco comes from Esteli, which is one of the most popular regions in Nicaragua right now. It comes in 5 sizes. The sizes are unique. We came up with the names K4, H39, A7, A41, and J38. All the letters are myself and my brother's family, his 2 kids, his wife, himself, and then the numbers are our age. The reason for the 312 is because my niece was born in December, hence the 12, and my nephew was born in March, the 3. So that's how we came up with the 312. This is the second edition. We had an original edition that we called the Classic. that is also made down in Honduras, which is blended with Dominican tobacco as well. But this Diciana 312 is very special to us because we had a more hands-on ability to work with the rollers, the factories, picking out the tobacco. My brother actually went down to Honduras and picked out the bundles of tobacco that is in this cigar. It was a 2-year process, back and forth with the blenders, taste testing, and we finally got something that we think is a really medium to full, tasty Nicaraguan rich tobacco. It was just rated a 92 in Smoke Magazine, that we are very proud of. As you all know, Smoke Magazine is a national magazine, and we are now in the process of distributing this to other retailers. Our passion in cigars runs to the point of that it is a handmade product. All these people that we deal with, whether it be in Dominican, Honduras, Nicaraguan, the roots go back very far. It's very family oriented. When a seed goes in the ground and then you're smoking it 3, 4, 5, 8 years later, so many different hands have touched that process. And when a cigar comes out and it smokes well, it's constructed well, it's got a nice ash to it, it's got great flavor, it's truly a handcrafted product. The families, the culture, just the cigar culture alone is great. Here in my lounge, we're like a cigar family. You see the same people all the time. New people come in and they're welcomed right in the group right away. It's just the cigar culture breeds that. When we were down in the factory, you see how much pride these people take in growing it, then harvesting it, drying it. Every single stage is detailed oriented, and if it just doesn't meet standards, they will not use it. So here I'm holding the K4. This is our version of the Robusto. The K stands for my niece Caitlin, and she was 4 years old when we decided to do this project. This is the cigar that got rated a 92 in Smoke Magazine, which again we are very proud of. This cigar here is what we call the H39. The H stands for Heidi, my sister-in-law, and this is basically a Toro size, 6x52. The other 3 sizes are the A41 and the A7, and then the newest size, which is my size, is called the J38, which is more of a Corona size, a little bit of a faster smoke, but again it possesses the same qualities, the flavor, the construction, it's all there. To learn more about cigars, please visit us at docjames2.com, or to learn more about the Diciana cigar, visit dicianacigars.com or cigartvnetwork.com. Light it up.
Hi, I'm Yakub Huda, Lead Sales Associate with Nat Sherman Cigars. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the different sizes in premium handmade cigars. We're here at the Nat Sherman Townhouse in New York City, and let's get down to it. So, cigars come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and we have different classifications for each styling. We'll go through some of the more popular ones here now. So we'll start here with probably the most famous of size names, which is the Churchill size. This is a 7x48 ring gauge cigar, named after Winston Churchill and one of the longer smokes you'll see out there in size comparison. Next up here we'll have what's called a Torpedo. This is a 6" by 52 ring gauge. Torpedoes will come tapered on one end, hence where they get their name from. And again, one of the more popular longer smokes out there as well. Up next, a little bit smaller here will be what we call a Corona Gorda. This has traditionally been one of the more popular sizes for many, many years, falling a little bit out of favor now, but more in tune with connoisseurs these days. This is a 5 5/8 length by 46 ring gauge, a very traditional size there as well, and a size that brings out tremendous balance and flavor. Next up here is what's called a Lonsdale or a Dahlias. It's a little bit longer than the Corona Gorda that we just saw. This is 6 3/8 and a 43 ring gauge, so a touch thinner as well. Back in the day, this used to be considered a really large cigar. These days, you'll see it as more of a middle size. But again, great length here for the development of complexity, and the ring gauge brings out a lot of the wrapper flavor as well. We'll move on here to probably one of the most popular sizes today in cigars, which is a Robusto size. Robustos will come in many different variations, but it'll start off pretty much with a standard 5 by 50. This, what we do here with our 1930 Gran Robusto, is a touch larger at a 5 1/4 by 54. And you'll see Robustos with ring gauges anywhere from 48 to 56 these days, many times. And finally here, we're looking at one of the more fun sizes in cigars, and one that you don't see as often anymore, which is what's called a Perfecto size. Perfectos will have tapered sides on both ends, and will come in many different lengths and ring gauges as well. This one is from our Epoca line, which will start at a 36 ring gauge at the foot, develop up to a 52, and then come back to that 38 at the head. But they'll come in larger and smaller formats as well. It's going to be an umbrella term Perfecto, essentially, for any cigar that has both tapers on both sides. Trends in cigar sizes these days tend to be towards bigger and bigger ring gauges. So what we're seeing, again, with the variation on the Gran Robusto being thicker than what a traditional Robusto is kind of following that trend there. We're also seeing the opposite trend, where people are getting towards narrow and narrower cigars as well, to kind of buck the other side of it. So that when you're seeing the Lonsdale come back into vogue, and the Corona Gorda as well, is kind of a response to that. So it varies pretty much around just the preference of the smoker on that front, in terms of what feels comfortable and what they feel delivers the best flavor for them. So wrapper flavor will come through always more intensely in a cigar of this style of ring gauge with the Lonsdale, Corona Gorda, or even thinner with the Lancero, because the proportion of the wrapper is going to be greater to that of the filler than in a bigger ring gauge cigar. Conversely, these thinner cigars will smoke a little bit more intensely as well, and with a little bit more heat, so they'll be smoked a little bit slower to deliver the full flavor experience. Whereas a cigar of a thicker ring gauge, like the 54 ring gauge here, can be smoked a little bit faster and deliver a cooler smoke. The converse is you're bringing in more air with the smoke as well, so you're going to dilute the flavor just a touch in terms of the intensity there. To learn more about Nat Sherman Cigars, please visit us at natsherman.com. We're here at the Townhouse on 42nd Street. Thanks for watching Cigar TV. Light it up.
Hey guys, Derek here with Reddit Cigar Reviews, and today I am going to show you how to season a humidor. So before we get started, you're going to need a few things. One of the things that we're definitely going to need is a gallon of distilled water. You can pick this up at any supermarket, CVS, Walgreens, any place like that, and it's very, very cheap. We only are using distilled water. We cannot use tap water or bottled water, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Next thing we're gonna need is some salt. Any type of table iodized salt will do the job. We're gonna need a Ziploc bag, and we're gonna need a little bowl. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is just shove all of your cigars into the humidor and close the lid. No, we do not just put cigars in a humidor. No. No. We don't do that. Do we? No. The main reason for not doing something like that is because you will ruin all of your perfectly good cigars. So, the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take our bowl and our distilled water. We're going to take the lid off the cap or the lid off the bottle, and we're going to put some water into the bowl here. Alright, so then we're going to take a lint-free cloth. It has to be lint-free. You can use microfiber. Don't use paper towels because that can really screw things up. So what we're going to do is we're going to dip this in the water just a little bit, get it a little damp. Alright, and we're going to squeeze out the excess remaining water in here. Okay, so we're going to move carefully our bowl of water back down onto the table. We're going to open the lid. So this is the humidor. We're going to set this aside for a minute. What we have inside of here is Spanish cedar wood. All humidors should be made of Spanish cedar because they maintain humidity better than any other type of woods, and they resist mold and mildew. So right here we have the top shelf. This is where all of your finer smokes will go once it's all ready. On the inside we have a few more things. This is a divider slat that can go in here and divide your humidor into two separate sections. We have a hygrometer. Alright, so we're going to talk about this a little later. Comes with a really nice key. Alright, because this is a locking humidor that I have here. And we have your humidity device. Okay, so we're going to open this up and we're going to deal with this now. What this does is it sticks right up here like that. You fill it with distilled water, and there's little beads in here that hold the water in there, and this will maintain a constant RH or humidity, relative humidity. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this aside because I don't want to get water all over my table. Alright, so how do we prep the humidity device? First, what you're going to want to do is take the magnet off the back here. You can see this magnet, it's just going to slide off, and we're going to put that to the side. Alright, so now that we have this is not sticky. This is metal right here. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this into a medium-sized Tupperware, and we're going to go ahead and fill the Tupperware with the distilled water until it covers the whole thing. Alright, so get it nice and evenly coated with the water first, and right when it reaches over the top of the black device, just push it down a little bit. Maybe give it some shakes just to get the air out of there, okay? And now we're just going to leave this, and we're not going to touch it for about 4 to 6 hours. That's so it can saturate the beads inside and hold the water. So we're looking at the humidor here, and I've already cleaned out the inside so there are no particles of wood or anything like that. You can use a vacuum to do yours with. Just make sure that there's no pieces of wood or anything like that inside, because the wood can on some occasions cause mold. If it's in small enough particles, it'll just, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know the science. I'm not Einstein. So now this is one of the ways that we can do this. There are several ways to season a humidor. This is how I do it. This works for me. It might not be the safest way, but it is the fastest way. Okay, so one of the ways that we can season the humidor, the slow way, and possibly the best way, is to just take your favorite shot glass or any small bowl and just fill it with distilled water, set it right in the middle of the humidor, and close the lid. That is going to make the water evaporate into the wood. It's going to saturate the wood, and then after about a day or so, the glass will be empty and the wood will be saturated. You might have to do that a few times. It might take about a week, so maybe 7 times of doing this, it will eventually be seasoned. But due to the time that I have and the way that I want to do it, we're going to do it by saturating the wood with the cloth. Okay, so we're going to again just dip the cloth into the water, squeeze out whatever's left. Don't want it too moist. Alright, and we're going to start to wipe down the whole interior of the humidor with the cloth, okay? This is going to saturate the wood a little bit faster, but the only downside of this is that you could possibly crack the wood. which is definitely not a good thing. So you're gonna wanna do this very, very carefully. If you do it wrong, you're gonna ruin a brand new humidor, so that's not fun. So we're gonna go ahead and just keep wiping this down with the water, and as the cloth gets dry, we're gonna resaturate the cloth and just keep doing this. Now, I'm gonna do it twice over once because the water seeps into the wood rather fast the first time around. And it takes a little while, maybe about 15 minutes, to really get everything all saturated. So with the magic of the camera, we're gonna fast forward through this and go to the next step right now. Okay, so now that we've wiped down the whole interior of the humidor, including the shelves, we're gonna go ahead and close the lid and we're gonna let it sit for a little while. And the next step, we're gonna take a look at this little guy. This is the hygrometer. This is what tells you what your humidity is at in your humidor. So there's a specific way to calibrate this, and I'm gonna show you how to do it right now. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a bottle cap right here, make sure it's clean it out with distilled water, and we're going to take our salt, okay? We're going to take the salt and we're going to put it inside the bottle cap. You don't want to fill it, you kind of want to make a nice little pile in there, just like that. Then you're going to take your distilled water and carefully, I'm going to do this off of the humidor so I don't ruin it. Carefully put a little bit of water in the bottle cap just to dampen the salt, okay? I may have put a little bit too much water in, so we're going to add a little bit more salt. You don't want it to look liquefied, you want it to just look like it's damp. So add a little bit more salt to cover up the rest of that water. Slowly. Okay. Alright. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our plastic bag here. We're going to open the bag up. We're going to take this right here. This is the hygrometer. And there's a little rubber ring around the edge, okay? You see it coming off there? We're going to take that off and set that to the side. We're going to take the bag, we're going to set the hygrometer in here, like so. And we're going to take our bottle cap that has the water in it and place it right next to, but not touching, the hygrometer. Now you're going to want to leave a little bit of air in the bag so that the humidity can escape from the bottle cap and get into the hygrometer. So close it up. And now we're going to let this sit for about 24 hours. And then after the 24 hours, the needle should bounce up to around 70, 75. And that's when you know that it's calibrated correctly. Once that's done, you can put it back into the humidor and you're ready to go. Alright, so next step. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to mount your humidifier. First, what you're going to want to do is take that magnet that we took off of this earlier and place it right back onto the metal part so it sticks. Now we're going to peel off the little 3M covering tape. This would be a lot easier if I didn't chew my nails. Okay, got it. We're going to peel that off there. Set that down. Turn the humidor towards you so you can actually see what I'm doing. Now let's pretend this has been about a day and the humidor is relatively seasoned. We're going to take this and we're going to take this sticky part, and right here, this little box, this area is where we're going to stick it. So put it right in here and press firmly so it gets stuck in there. Alright, don't do this too hard because you could crack the wood or the plastic of the device itself. We're going to hold it for a couple seconds. Okay, so that's stuck on there nice and tight. Now, when you need to go ahead and refill this, you're going to want to pull it out of the box here. Your magnet will be stuck on the inside, and you would just refill it like you had filled it the first time. Let it sit for a good 4 hours, take it out, and just stick it right back inside. Just like that, and close the humidor. So after everything's said and done and your hygrometer is all ready to go, you're gonna do the exact same thing that you did with the black thing right here. Can't think right now. You're gonna stick it right in this little circle here. Now when I was wiping down the inside of the humidor, I did not touch these two holes right here, these two areas with the water. Why? Because it makes it very hard for the adhesive to stick to wet wood. So I just left that alone. I left it dry so it'll be much easier for the devices to adhere to the wood. So basically that's it. There are many ways to season a humidor, like I said. This is how I do it and this is what works. I've done it to, well, now all of my 3 humidors and I've had no problems whatsoever. So guys, if you have any questions on anything, just go ahead and leave a comment down below, or you can email me directly at redditcigarreviews@gmail.com and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have regarding doing this. So it does take some time, but once you get through it and you know how to do it, it's smooth sailing from here on out. And welcome to the world of the humidor and keeping your cigars safe in an environment where they will thrive and hopefully age nice and well. So guys, I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. You won't be disappointed. So guys, I'd like to thank you yet again, and until next time, as always, happy smoking.